Hey drummers and those aspiring to be drummers or those just curious about drums. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. This is actually harkening back to some orchestral work and studies that I had done in my history. I think I've talked a lot about, getting as much experience as you can and with different teachers, the super pro drummers that do it for a living and just the people that you just meet here and there, and clinicians, and you can learn from anybody. But you can also learn a tremendous amount by playing different kinds of music. So I had the privilege of being in jazz bands and cover bands here and there, not too many of those, and concert bands and orchestra, where I read a lot of magazines as a percussionist. I'll say, but I was also able to take some different lessons and learn a little bit of different approaches to drums and percussion. So one I'm going to actually show you today. So it's going to be the long roll. That's sometimes known as called a buzz roll. If you look out on YouTube, or if you're just generally what they're called, because it sounds like you're buzzing, continuously buzzing the roll in the drum. And I looked on quite a bit on YouTube and didn't see anybody doing quite what I am going to teach today. I know somebody out there teaches this because I learned it from somebody, and I think my method is just slightly different. So first I'll tell you what a long roll, a typical buzz roll, is like. Basically what's taught is you get as many beats as you can, many bounces as you can out of each hand, and you kind of just more or less push them into the head. And then, eventually you're... I almost can't play it that way. That's what predominantly what's taught out there, and I would say pretty much, even after learning what I'm going to teach you, I probably tend to do that more. I'm playing drum set, I might tend to do that more. This is a different look at an orchestral view. You're trying to draw the sound out of the drum, and sometimes in drum set, you might not be trying to draw the sound out. You might be trying to like rock or funk or something like that. You might be trying to push the sound into it. It's kind of hard to describe those distinctions, but in what I was taught, a lot of things were, you don't hit the drum like this. You play up. You bring the sound out. And so that's another technique I learned on this. And so this is just kind of a continuation of, I think, that idea. So the teacher had explained, but the downside of the buzz roll can be, isn't always that way, but it can be, you hear too much of the unevenness of it. And especially when you're starting out, definitely in 7th grade, a lot of kids, that's what they sound like. I sounded like that until I learned this method. So this method actually uses 3 bounces. So there's actually a few different rules for this method. 3 bounces. You cannot use your wrists. You're only using your arms. And I'll show you what you have to do. And it's really hard. I'll see if I can do it on camera to train yourself to minimize and eliminate wrists. And the third thing is that you're almost making like an egg beater motion, like the right hand is coming in. Both hands are kind of making a motion like this as you're doing each of the 3 bounces. So it kind of looks like this at a slow pace. You'll see it's not perfect when I'm doing it now, but that's how it goes. And so, the real the benefit of that is you can do really quietly. And it's maybe not coming up today. The methodology, the way that I had to practice this was taking quarters. And I had to put quarters on the back of my hands. And I'll see if I can actually do this on camera. It's really hard. I was practicing this earlier. Oh, see, there it goes. It's really hard to do, especially when you're trying to film it. You take your quarters, and you have to be able to play it. Yeah, I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to do it today. I actually have to play it with the quarter, and the quarters cannot fall off your hands. As you can imagine, I've already dropped them twice. If you're using your wrists, what are they going to do? They're going to come off. So I had to, you sit here and you put your quarters on here, and you're no wrists, and you're doing your kind of egg beater motion, I guess is what I would call that. No wrists. So you practice that for a while, and you can do it quietly. And you kind of get the idea of what that is. The end result is more like, maybe, well, let's see if I can pull it off and make it sound good. It's more like this. You can see, like, at the end, I did that little flourish there, where that kind of just helps draw the sound out, as opposed to, it really hammers that in. So that's kind of the idea, and it's not something that I probably have used as much on drum set as I was mentioning, but it does open your hands to learn something different, and to learn how to control drumsticks in a different way. Maybe appreciate something else. If you go and listen to, like I went to a nutcracker of a professional, the Pacific Northwest Ballet in Seattle. Of course, the guy that was playing in the pit was one of my teacher's old students. He was a little bit older than I was. And I said, yes, that is how snare drum is supposed to sound in this setting. He was playing how she taught. And this, if it's well executed, this roll can actually fill a room. If I had a bigger room here, you could probably hear it. It can really fill a room. And the other benefit of this over a buzz roll, as I was mentioning, I guess I'll just reinforce that, is if you're really pushing it in there, you're not bringing that sound out of the drum. So that's kind of what I was taught, and I guess I more or less probably adopted some of those principles even when I just normally play. But so it's something like this. So I hope you found that informative and interesting. If you have any other ideas or want to see anything else I might be able to come up with, let me know. And I hope you have a great day.